Yo, it's your boy, Orion, one half of the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Back at you with a new video. Leonard Fournette, the running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, released today. Best team fits moving forward, we shall see. Could it be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? My team, possibly. Could it be with his best friend or one of his best friends in Jalen Ramsey with the Los Angeles Rams? Possibly. Could it be a team like the Chicago Bears that need a little bit of health and depth from David Montgomery with Tariq Cohen? We know Montgomery got a little banged up, so they need a little bit of help as well. Could it be a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, James the Terminator Kana, and possibly a Leonard Fournette? Maybe Danger Russ and Russell Wilson with Chris Carson adding a back like Leonard Fournette could help. Maybe the New England Patriots. When you end up looking at Leonard Fournette running with the 27, it reminds you of LeGarrette Blount running downhill. It could be a player like that could add a little dynamic with Cam Newton. We shall see. But a lot of things have happened over the last few days. A lot of injuries for the Philadelphia Eagles on the offensive line. Jalen Reagor. We've seen a lot of different pieces and personnels kind of get adjusted as we're 10 days away from the NFL debut when we got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. I'm excited. So like I said, I'm starting to get the editing kind of in a proper manner, starting to get the thumbnails in, kind of in line. But I wanted to hop on today just to kind of go over Leonard Fournette and some of the destination spots that he might be able to land. Big news with Derwin James, obviously going out for the year. They said with the meniscus, it could be something where they treat it and he could be back to 4 to 6 weeks. He's been kind of that type of player that typically gets hurt, and he gets hurt often. So I had a fear that he might be out for the full year. And then, as we obviously found out, that he is going to be out for the full year. And that's a huge loss to the Los Angeles Chargers, because I'm going to be doing Hard Knocks tomorrow, HBO Hard Knocks, the live stream with the Chargers and the Rams. And I thought the Chargers could be a bubble team. I thought that they could be a team that might make the playoffs. But without a Derwin James, he's still got, Earl Thomas III still available on the market. I'm not sure if that would be a destination where he would want to go to. But with that being said, if they get him, then they can maybe get back in the mix. But I definitely now have the Denver Broncos solidified over them and over, obviously, the Raiders as well as a second-place team behind the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC East. But it's crazy. A lot of season-ending injuries, a lot of injuries that are going to take, 2 to 4 weeks, 2 to 6 weeks. So it might not be necessarily the best teams that end up making that playoff push with this COVID-19 and this coronavirus. It might be the teams that actually just are healthy in December when we get to a point where they might have only certain available players. I mean, we're going to have injuries every single year, regardless if it's a COVID-19 year, a coronavirus year, or not. But it really makes me kind of wonder, as we're getting further and further along, who's going to be healthy in December? Now, as I start to see the Eagles start to kind of get banged up with 3 out of their starting 5 on the offensive line and Jalen Reagor, and then we obviously saw Logan Ryan get picked up by the Giants, I'm starting to think that the New York Football Giants, I told you guys that I kind of felt that would be a sleeper team. I think the New York Football Giants could make the playoffs this season, especially if the Eagles keep getting banged up. We'll have to see if the Cowboys can prove to me with Mike McCarthy, and Kellen Moore with that combination to see what happened there. But I am starting to get a little bit more confidence with certain teams like the New York Football Giants and obviously some of these other players on the Arizona Cardinals as well. Ryan Strick in the building. What to do, man? It's been crazy, man, these last few days. I just wanted to hop on just for a little bit, but hopefully that you're doing good. Kansas City Chiefs, I saw with your boy Veach and Andy Reid getting those big extensions. So that's exciting to see that they're locking up their main guys for a long period of time, and they deserve it. I mean, these guys brought them the Super Bowl, and they've been able to do magical things in free agency with the cap. So I'm really excited to see where it goes moving forward. Ryan Strick said, what to do? Who gets signed first, Clowney or Fournette? He said, what happened to Jalen Reagor? He got banged up, obviously, in practice. It's not season ending, but you're going to have to keep, adjusting and kind of watching him as we move forward. Giants sign Clowney. See, I heard there was rumors that might be something that would happen. Now, is that official? with the Giant signing Clowney, Tracy, or is that just a rumor? Let me go to my Twitter feed and just to double check here to see everything that's going on, because I know that there was a few different guys that were starting to kind of, because obviously with Logan Ryan getting picked up, I know that was going to be big. And then obviously as we start going through the other names and the players, let me see here. Let's go through some of the action. Where did you see that at, Tracy? Where is this news at? I see Casey extensions. I see Derwin James. I'm not seeing anything on ESPN. I can go to my Twitter feed real quick here. Is that confirmed, Tracy? I know Logan Ryan signed, and that's big, and that obviously gives me a lot of kind of confidence in them moving forward. NFLdo.com. .com? I know Logan Ryan did. Veach and we got Andy Reid, Fournette getting released. I know Logan Ryan. I haven't seen anything on Clowney, so I'm not sure if that's confirmed unless it's on some kind of other feed that I'm missing. But I hope everyone is doing great. I hope everyone has been having a fantastic last few days. We're 10 days away from getting to the point where we can call the NFL home and we can enjoy football moving forward. But I want to go over some destination points for Leonard Fournette. He definitely has a lot of game character in the locker room, definitely rubs people kind of the wrong way. But there's a lot of different places that he could land. The New England Patriots. He wears the 27. He runs downhill. He hits the A-gap. He can run behind guys that pull. Him and Cam Newton, that would really give Cam Newton that extra piece with James White and Sony Michel, even though the wide receiving core is a little depleted. You know, they got Edelman and they still have a few other pieces, N'Keal Harry. But the Patriots can use all the weapons that they could get, and I could really see a bruiser back like Leonard Fournette joining the New England Patriots. I'm not sure if that's where he wants to go. The Chicago Bears with David Montgomery being banged up would be another destination. You know, obviously with Rojo and the limited running backs that I have, Keyshawn Vaughn, you know, the rookie this season for Tampa Bay, adding a Leonard Fournette, you know, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could add another dynamic to the team. I obviously would, welcome him with open arms if that was something that he would want to come in and help the team win. I'm not sure if I like the attitude and everything that's going on with him. You know, obviously a lot of these guys like Earl Thomas III, he hasn't got signed yet. I think a lot of it has to do with the attitude and kind of the issue that you might have in the locker room with these certain guys. But I don't know. I mean, I'll take them. But then there's also teams like the Los Angeles Rams. They don't necessarily need a running back. They got Cam Akers. They got three-headed horse already there. But one of his best friends is Jalen Ramsey, who he played with Jacksonville Jaguars. So there's a lot of different areas where we could really see where he falls. But I'm really interested to see where people end up. It's interesting. So you got Clowney. Giants confirmed. I'm not sure. Tracy says it's confirmed. I haven't seen anything confirmed with the Giants just yet, unless it's something that comes up. So you can let me know. A lot of injuries for the Eagles with the offensive line. 3 starters on their offensive line banged up. And then obviously Jalen Reagor, the rookie wide receivers, banged up. We saw Derwin James go out for the year. That really is a huge blow for the Chargers' chance for me to be a bubble team. I definitely think now there'll be other teams that'll take advantage. Denver Broncos. I'm not sure if I believe in the Cleveland Browns, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Colts, those teams might jump now a few spots since the Chargers. I mean, they can still get Earl Thomas III if he's willing to come to the Chargers, but I just don't know if that's a team or a destination that he wants to go with Tyrod Taylor and a young Justin Herbert at QB. I'm not sure if that's where he wants to go. Logan Ryan, we were wondering where's he going to fall, and he's a stud, and he ends up with the New York Football Giants, and with all these injuries with the Eagles, I'm starting to think that this New York Football Giant team, they might be able to make a wild card and compete with the Cowboys and Eagles, and who knows, maybe they overachieve and win the division this season. No one's really talking about them, but they're quietly building a nice roster. And if they don't win the division this year and they get in with a wild card, I think if they keep building the way that they are with Joe Judge, I really like the roster and what they're doing. And I told you guys months ago, that I thought the New York Football Giants could be a sleeper team even prior to them picking up Logan Ryan. So, and if this Clowney thing is true too, that Tracy says, I mean, that's two more pieces, that they could add on going forward. AK-41 Alvin Kamara, he hinted that he said, I'm sorry a couple weeks ago, and we were wondering, what's he sorry for? He's holding out. Obviously, he wants more money at the running back position. So there's a lot of drama in New Orleans. They try to act like there's nothing brewing over there, but there is a few different things over the last few months. The Drew Brees controversy. We need to make sure we get AK in the building because I want them to be fully healthy when they play my Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1 in the Dome. Leonard Fournette released from the Jags. Best team fits? Who could it be? Could it be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and my team? Could it be the Los Angeles Rams with his best friend Jalen Ramsey? Could it be the Pittsburgh Steelers and James Conner? Could it be the New England Patriots like a LeGarrette Blount clone running that 27 A-gap all the way downhill for Bill Belichick? Or maybe the Chicago Bears. David Montgomery's hurt. That could be a nice piece with Tariq Cohen. Many possibilities. Even Russell Wilson and Chris Carson in the Seattle Seahawks. Leonard Fournette in Seattle would be a big boost, for a 1-2 punch. So I'm not really sure where he's going to end up. He's still got a lot of time left. They didn't want to pay him the money. But it really makes you wonder, and it kind of makes me kind of think, I'm glad I didn't do any fantasy football just yet because all these pieces are still moving around, and you just don't really know where guys are going to be. Guys are getting cut. Guys are getting injured. Guys are getting released. So there's still got a lot of movement with 10 days left before we get into the NFL primetime debut of the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. So let me go in here, just acknowledge everyone, make sure everyone's doing good. Ryan Trick in the building, Tracy in the building, saying Giant sign Clowney. Let me know where I can find it. I've been looking on all the websites. I'm not seeing it. Cross 4 in the building. Rip, he says, I don't know how long it's been. What to do? He said, drop him from my bench on fantasy, Ryan Trick. I don't know. Who are you talking about? Leonard Fournette? I'd probably still hang on to him. It depends on what team he goes to. Let's see here. Light Gaming in the building. Giants, I thought Clowney wanted to play for a contender. Well, the thing is, Cross 4, I think the Giants could be a contender. I don't think that they're going to be a top-tier team in the NFC, but I could definitely see them being a under-the-radar team, kind of like the Arizona Cardinals. And then if other teams play bad or get injured in that division, the Eagles and the Cowboys, Eagles with the injuries, Cowboys maybe underachieve with McCarthy year 1. Maybe Joe Judge and Saquon. Like, imagine if Saquon's the MVP this season. Daniel Jones doesn't turn the ball over as much as he did last year. The O-line plays great. They pick up good pieces on the defense like Logan Ryan, and they overachieve. Is it that crazy to think that the Giants could go 9-7 or 10-6? I don't think so. I think they're light years ahead of the Washington football team. I don't think they're that far behind of the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles personally, and it just depends on Daniel Jones year 2. Year 2 is going to be big for a lot of quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones. We're really going to see these guys elevate and take their teams to the next level, and it's possible that one or both of those teams, the Arizona Cardinals and the New York Football Giants, might make a wild card this season. It doesn't look like it because a lot of people, it's not the narrative that people want to talk about, in NFL.com, on NFL Network, ESPN. But just look at the roster and look at the weapons that they have. And if they can stay healthy throughout the season, there is a possibility there. Let me see here. See, I don't know. I just saw something. Giants signed the number 2 free agent, Jadeveon Clowney. See, I haven't seen anything just yet, but we'll see. Earl Thomas to the Chargers. That's logical. Obviously, now with Derwin James going out for the year, but I'm not sure if he wants to go there, and that's facts. So Coach Lynn has said that he doesn't want Earl on the Chargers, and I don't think a lot of people want him. I mean, if he was that desirable, right, he would have already gotten picked up last week after a day or 2 days or 3 days. So obviously the attitude issues and the issues that are off the field and the teammate that he is, even though he has Super Bowl experience, he's a first-time, first ballot Hall of Famer. But sometimes when you rub people the wrong way, when you play the middle finger to Pete Carroll and then punching in the head of the other Ravens teammate, sometimes people don't want to fuck with you anymore. It's like Dez Bryant. After he ended up having his injury with the Saints, he wanted to come back. He's still trying to come back. He tried out for the Ravens. He's trying, right? And he looks like he's in pretty good shape. But if you're kind of a fuckhead, right, when you're on the field, kind of like a TO, right, you can be a great player, right? But if you're kind of a fuckhead type of player and kind of a douchey kind of guy, and you're always talking shit and you're always rubbing people the wrong way, even if you're producing mad numbers on the field, people are going to remember the shit that you did off the field, in the locker room, in the media, in the interviews, more than what you did on the field, sad to say. And that's why certain guys, when they get released or when their contracts are up or when they get traded or when they get cut, They have the talent and they have the name recognition, but they don't get picked up. And you wonder why. And a lot of it has to do with the attitude, because they don't want to have a cancer in the locker room. Yeah, they know that you can put up big numbers, right? Or you could be, comparable to some of the guys that are playing in their starting lineup or their bench. But sometimes it's just not worth it bringing in that cancer or that possible cancer to fuck up the team chemistry. And that's facts. Seattle, could be. So Ark Omen says Eagles, he can come to the Eagles. I don't know. I don't know if the Eagles would really want Leonard Fournette. I mean, they already got Miles Sanders there. But, I mean, any 1-2 punch that you could add to Fournette, even if Fournette wasn't the starter, just adding another piece to your backfield. I mean, I would take Leonard Fournette on my team. I mean, I'm just trying to accumulate as many pieces as possible as we're going from 10 days away from the start of the season. So it's really exciting. And like I said, with Tampa Bay, I really need a three down back, a star back. I haven't really had a guy that, I could really rely on since Mike Allstott work done. We had Doug Martin, muscle hamster for like a year or two, but I really haven't had that stud veteran, guy, or even a younger back within the first 4 years like Leonard Fournette to be my 3 down, my bell cow. And if I can get something like that, that could be one of the missing pieces from Tampa Bay, getting to the playoffs, maybe winning a playoff game, or maybe getting from the point of getting to the playoffs or getting to the NFC Championship game. Adding a piece like Leonard Fournette could really help a team like the Chicago Bears from being at the bottom of the NFC North to maybe being in the middle and being a little bit more respectable with the Vikings with all the losses on defense for them. Maybe the Lions don't do as good as we think. Packers might not win as many games, so he could help there. He could definitely help Tampa Bay compete with the Saints, just giving me another weapon to compete with the NFC South, with the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Saints. If he ends up going to a team like the Rams, they could always add another piece there, Leonard Fournette, Jalen Ramsey. I'm not sure if it's a fit for that team, but I know that they're like really good friends, best friends, so he would probably take less money to play with Jalen Ramsey and hang out with him, obviously in the off season, when they have, days off, they would hang out together. So that would be some kind of issue there. The New England Patriots kind of makes sense. Obviously he has that LeGarrette Blount number, 27, runs the A-gap, runs downhill. He can make plays, and he could be like a LeGarrette Blount type of player and get them those extra yards and have James White in the backfield or Sony Michel. You would have a 3-headed horse, Fournette, Sony Michel, James White with a Cam Newton. That would be very exciting to see. That would give them another piece to kind of shorten the gap, because I still got the Bills kind of towards the top in the AFC East. But, I mean, it just depends on if they can add a piece like that, and then see how Cam plays. I'm not sure if we're going to get MVP Cam, at this point. I still like the Buffalo Bills winning that division. But if they get Leonard Fournette on the New England Patriots, that definitely would shorten the gap quite a bit. But I don't know if New England is in the running. I'm not sure if Tampa Bay is in the running either. We're going to have to kind of wait and see. But those two places really make logical sense to me, New England and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, maybe Pittsburgh, maybe Chicago. It just depends, I guess, if he wants to play on a contender. Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, New England, those are going to be contenders. The Bears, not so much. They're going to be one of the bottom, probably 8 teams in the NFL, maybe bottom 5. I don't think they're going to be that great this season. And then with the Rams, they could be an 8-8 to a 10-6 team, but we just don't really know where they're going to be, and it just depends on the O-line and really the development of Cam Akers and the rest of that roster on defense to see where they kind of play out. Cooper Kupp's in a contract year, so I'm excited to see what happens there. Leonard Fournette released from the Jags. Best team fits with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. So I'll be live tomorrow for Hard Knocks. My girlfriend was sick last week with the stomach flu, so that's why I haven't been on doing a lot of live streams or reaction videos. she was sick for about 4 or 5 days, so I wanted to make sure that she was okay, and instead of having her move over to the living room and I'm trying to do Hard Knocks, I wanted to do the Hard Knocks live stream, and I wanted to end up doing some more videos, but you got to take care of the people that are around you and making sure that they're okay. But like I said, I'm back. Things are good. She's feeling better. So we're going to be pumping out a lot of videos, especially when we only got 10 days left before the NFL debut, the Chiefs and the Houston Texans. As you guys notice in the thumbnail, I'm starting to kind of go with the editing. So moving forward, all the thumbnails are going to be a lot fancier. They're going to have text on them. Like I said, it's going to be nice. I got kind of the live play-by-play and reactions set up for the, thumbnails for the matchups. I already got the Chiefs and the Texans one already finished, so I've been kind of playing around with the editing, with everything. So we're definitely excited for year 4 coming into the Northwest Sports Fanatics. That's facts. Let me take a quick look and scroll down to see what else people think. I Like Gaming says, what do you think about the Redskins' new logo and team name? Well, the Washington football team is not going to really settle in with a team name probably until next year, legal reasons. I mean, you got the Washington football team. They're getting in trouble with Daniel Snyder and all the, sexual misconduct and the cheerleaders and, videotapes and pictures of the cheerleaders, that he's not supposed to have access to. And, it's kind of a nightmare there, with that franchise. But as far as Chase Young and watching him in training camp and watching him in practice, you can tell he's going to be like a Nick Bosa, a Joey Bosa, two guys that could be all pros this season. But I think Chase Young, him and Isaiah Simmons are going to battle it out for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Isaiah Simmons from Clemson. He's going to be the Cardinals' next superstar at linebacker. They got Budda Baker back there, and they obviously have a nice pieces up front as well. But I'm really excited to see what he can do on the Washington football team, Chase Young. He really is special, and it's going to be fun to watch the Washington football team and him wreak havoc, not only on the NFC East quarterbacks, but the rest of the quarterbacks that he plays against in his career, and that's facts. Troll Patrol in the building. Said, what up, Ryan and NWSF? AK out, set up for the Bucks. Hey, he wants his money. He's definitely not happy with the situation there. He already warned on Twitter. He said sorry in advance, and I kind of had a feeling it was for money. So we'll see where it goes, but hopefully they get him in the building, because when we play them week 1, I don't want them to have just Latavius Murray. I want them to be full strength. I don't want any excuses from the Saints fans or anybody else if there's any type of, we weren't full strength, or we didn't have AK-41, or we didn't have certain players. So I'm excited to see where that goes. Ark Omen says, come on, man, why not the Birds? Hey, maybe. I just don't know if that's necessarily a fit with the scheme. But, gosh, I feel really bad for the Eagles fans. I mean, 3 starters out of their starting 5 on their O-line. Jalen Reagor is banged up. I mean, they keep getting hurt more and more. It seems like every day that passes in training camp, another guy is getting banged up. And these aren't just so-so players. I mean, these are top-notch guys on their O-line. And if you remember, about a month ago, I ended up doing a video, who's got the best O-line and D-line combo. And prior to all the injuries, I had the Eagles at number 1 as far as talent and depth and who they have. But that depth is starting to dwindle a little bit. And now I see the Giants starting to rise in the pecking order. And obviously moving up in that division. Eagles might be sliding down a little bit. Cowboys may be sliding up. I mean, I still think the Eagles have time to be able to get the chemistry and get things right. But if they keep having more and more guys drop off that O-line, that's not going to be good. I'm not really sold on the Cowboys just yet. I really do like the Giants. That's the one team that I really like besides the Eagles before all these injuries. I mean, I like CeeDee Lamb, and I like everything that they got going on, with Kellen Moore calling the plays, but it's still unproven. They had a bad record last year. I believe they were like 0-5 or 0-6 in games that were decided by 7 points or less. That's not good. I think them and the Cincinnati Bengals had, I think, the 2 worst records in games that were decided by 7 or less. And I think they were 0-5 last season. And you can't win a division, and you can't win, playoff games or even get to the playoffs if you play football like that. And they weren't really a bad football team. It's just they gave up on Jason Garrett. But now, with him on the New York Football Giants calling plays for Danny Dimes, I think he found his new home. And if you're looking for one team to kind of steal the show and really show people that they're better than people think, and maybe a year or 2 early, could be the New York Football Giants. Don't be surprised if they end up making a wild card and hitting 10-6 this season, especially if Saquon plays like MVP Saquon, like I feel he's going to, and if he ends up playing healthy the whole season, and he's the number one running back, has the most yards. He gets the crown over Derrick Henry this season. Danny Dimes gets better in year 2. They got a good O-line. I like their receivers. Defense, you got Logan Ryan. I just really like this New York Football Giant team. They've come a long way in the last couple years, and that's facts. Zion, ex-Evo. He says, Seattle has Carson and just signed Carlos Hyde in free agency. True, but as you know, you never can use enough running backs, in the backfield, 2, 3, 4, and you never know which guys are going to get hurt and get banged up. Carson typically gets banged up, but he's still one of my most underrated, running backs in the whole entire NFL. Carlos Hyde, you can't really, count on him staying healthy for the full season as well. I don't think it's necessarily a fit. I'm just throwing out some teams that I could see him in the uniform if I could close my eyes and just visualize Leonard Fournette playing somewhere. I mean, he kind of gives you that beast mode, that Marshawn Lynch, that LeGarrette Blount kind of feel. And if you think about places where those guys have played, Marshawn Lynch played in Buffalo, but they don't necessarily need a running back like of his status. I mean, they could use him, with the pieces they had, but I'm looking for Zach Moss to kind of take over with Devin Singletary. So they got 2 pieces there, but Seattle Seahawks, I mean, the O-line and the D-line, very, very shaky. The O-line is one of the worst in the NFL. The D-line is one of the worst in the NFL. So I'm not sure if that's necessarily a fit, but you never know. You never know. It just depends on money and where he wants to go, if he wants to go to a contender. And every time we write off the Seattle Seahawks, they always make the playoffs. It seems like as long as Danger Russ is out there, they're good for 10 games, 10 wins. And that's facts. Juan Gotti in the building. What to do? 9K Jalen and David Montgomery only around out 2 weeks, right? That's facts. Right, but with Nagy and that system, we'll have to kind of see if they go for Mitchell Trubisky or Nick Foles. I'm hoping they go Nick Foles. I think Trubisky is kind of like the Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota. You lost your chance. You fucked up. You shouldn't have picked, you shouldn't have traded up for Mitchell Trubisky. You could have had Deshaun Watson. You could have had Patrick Mahomes. Your time is up. And even if they want to start him, it's only going to be 4 games, and then he'll get benched and Nick Foles will come in. And I'm not saying Nick Foles is that much better than Mitchell Trubisky, but to me, Mitchell Trubisky is a backup. I don't really think that, he's a guy that's going to be a starter in this league moving forward. He's going to be a backup, unfortunately. There's just certain players that are better, and they don't have a whole lot of weapons, at running back. They got Montgomery and Tariq Cohen, and they got Allen Robinson, but, they don't really have a full complemented roster to help either quarterback. So both quarterbacks are kind of in that you're fucked kind of situation. You can do as good as you can, but they shouldn't be better than the Lions, the Vikings, or the Packers, even if they overachieved and the defense played like they did when they had Vic Fangio before he left for Denver. I just don't really see this team being a playoff team. I don't see this team hitting 500. I see this team winning maybe 4 to 6 wins, if that, maybe less. Depending on who plays at quarterback and what happens. But I have no confidence in the team. They could end up being one of the bottom 5 teams in the NFL, like with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's facts. Heel Puck in the building. Kenyon Drake in a walking boot. Don't be surprised if Fournette to Arizona stirs up at some point. I would like that. You know what I mean? That would be nice, right? Kyler Murray, obviously D-Hop hasn't been practicing that much as well. I really like Kenyon Drake and that idea of him being there, kind of a downhill runner. Leonard Fournette could be, a fit there. But I think more of a fit, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New England Patriots, and then obviously the Los Angeles Rams, just for the fact of his friend Jalen Ramsey's there. But if you're talking about fit, adding a piece that could really help a team go further in the playoffs, Tampa Bay could use them. We're only 1 or 2 pieces away, unless we get really good production from Rojo or Keyshawn Vaughn, the rookie. But adding that extra piece like a Fournette, that definitely could be huge implications, not only for the NFC South, but for the NFC in general, and to see how far Tom Brady can go, having a guy that might be a little bit more talented than Rojo, Keyshawn Vaughn, and the extra guys that they have, competing for carries and touches. And then going for New England, LeGarrette Blount Jr., LeGarrette Blount 2.0. Cam Newton is going to need all the help that he's going to get. I'm not really sold on the fact of him being Super Cam and him being the Cam Newton of, his MVP season. It's possible. I still like the Buffalo Bills overall with the coaching staff, the O-line, the running backs, the wide receivers, adding Stephon Diggs and having Josh Allen have another year under his belt in the system. I love the defense. I love everything that they brought in. They brought in Josh Norman, even though he got burnt toast and he got burnt a lot. But I think we might see a resurgence of a Josh Norman, kind of like when he was on Carolina. He can take chances. He's got good pieces behind him, with Jordan Poyer, and they got good Tre'Davious White. So they got a lot of good pieces in the secondary where he can maybe take chances like he did with Carolina. And you might see a rebirth, and he might not get toasted as much as he did when he was with Washington. So I'm interested to see that kind of matchup, and this could be the year finally that Buffalo is favored. But when you got Bill Belichick, and you got Josh McDaniels, and you got Cam Newton, and you still have Edelman there, and you still have some good pieces on defense. No Patrick Chung, obviously opting out, but they're still going to be in the running, to get a wild card or win the division. That's facts. As long as Belichick is there and they got a quarterback that can get the job done, if Cam Newton is that guy, 10 wins isn't going to be that impossible to think, but I just don't know how far they're going to go. I don't think they're in the same category as the Chiefs or the Ravens or maybe Buffalo or Pittsburgh. There's going to be a lot of other teams, Tennessee. We're going to have to see the depth and these injuries as they start stockpiling, because I see a lot of injuries happening within the first 2 months with COVID and coronavirus and not guys really being in NFL shape. And a lot of these guys are just flying off the board right now. They're getting hurt left and right, and they're not getting hurt for just minor things. These guys are getting hurt for the year, and it's already crazy to me. So I'm hoping we can keep most of these guys healthy for a good chunk of the season, because we don't want a big banged up roster, because it might end up being who's the healthiest in December. Not necessarily who the best teams are, but there might be a couple teams that maybe aren't really playoff worthy, but maybe they sneak in with a wild card spot or that 7th spot just by being healthy in December, and that's facts. Leonard Fournette released from the Jags. Best team fits. A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. And you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. Crazy, crazy times, 10 days away from this NFL season. Andrew Thomas looks bad. I don't think so. I think Andrew Thomas is going to be great for the New York Football Giants. Everyone's got a personal preference. The Washington football team, Juan Gotti's going to be last in the division. That's facts. That's just facts. We'll see how many wins that you guys get. Hopefully you guys overachieve. I like Chase Young a lot, but you guys got a long ways to go to compete with the Giants, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. And that's facts. Ark in the house. What to do? Jalen Reagor injured. Ark Omen, Eagles possible. I don't know. That would definitely be like a J.H.I. all over again if he went there. Man, I remember when we had Kenyon Drake, the Dolphins. Okay, Dolphins in the house. Lenny D, what up, my guy? Fly, Eagles, fly. Dropped a video today, Orion. And just came to say what's up, spending time with the fam. Hopefully he's still on later when I come back. Fly, Eagles, fly. What to do, my guy? Miss ya. I know a lot of people have been watching a lot of wrestling and pay-per-views and keeping up on training camp, and I'll be back for Hard Knocks Los Angeles for the Rams and the Chargers tomorrow. So I'll be doing a live stream. So if you can't come back later today, I'll be back. So no worries. So hopefully everything is going good with you. And like I said, a lot of live play-by-play and reactions, a lot of NFL coverage coming very, very soon in the next 10 days. Do I drop Jalen Reagor from my bench? Ooh, no, I don't think so, because I don't think it's season ending. He's going to be a nice piece to just keep on the roster, just because with all these other guys getting banged up on the offensive line for the Eagles, Strick, what does that mean? More than likely, they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So if they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, Reagor is going to get some touches. So I would definitely hang on to him. It's too early. We haven't even started the season yet. So definitely keep him. Don't drop him just yet. Devontae Griffin in the building. So I feel like the Browns or the Steelers. The Browns, if you're talking about Leonard Fournette, wouldn't really make sense because they already have the best depth in the NFL with who? Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So why would Fournette go somewhere where he wanted to steal carries away from those two guys? That would be an amazing three-headed horse. They already have probably arguably the best duo running back in the whole entire NFL. Who really is better than Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt when he's healthy? That's definitely one of the top duos as far as 1-2 punches in the NFL. But Pittsburgh, on the flip side, him and James Conner, Juju, Deontay Johnson, Big Ben, being that big bruiser back, I definitely could picture him there. Pittsburgh Steelers, New England Patriots, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chicago Bears. Los Angeles Rams just because of him being friends with Jalen Ramsey. But really, the Steelers, the Pats, Tampa Bay, they make logical sense. But I'm not sure where he wants to go or who's going to pick him up. It'll be interesting to see where they go. Zion says, the Browns have Chubb and Hunt, no way. A guy in the building, Raiders. What to do, my guy? Devontae Griffin or Redskins because Peterson is getting old. That's true. And obviously, Darius Geis getting released doesn't help that cause either with all the problems the Washington football team is having. But I don't think he would go there. If Leonard Fournette has a choice or wants to go to a team, he's probably going to want to go to a contender. But we'll see. A guy says, Tampa needs this guy. Raiders. What to do, my guy? Appreciate you checking up on me, A guy. I know, obviously, if I don't go, live or if I don't do any reaction videos for a couple days, people get worried. But, like I said, the girlfriend was sick and had the stomach flu, bad one, for about 4 or 5 days. So wanted to make sure that, that got taken care of. And obviously now we're into a brand new week, 10 days away from the NFL debut. Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs Kingdom stand up versus the Houston Texans. I've been working on some editing. I've been working on the thumbnails. I've been working on different, Photoshop kind of programs. So now moving forward, all the thumbnails are going to look so much better. They're all going to have text on them. So obviously with the editing with the channel, everything is just getting better and better. We're going to have the scoreboard this season for year 4 with the Northwest Sports Fanatics. So it's going to be very, very exciting as we're moving forward into 2020 and this coronavirus NFL season, and that's facts. So, man, I've always wanted Leonard Fournette to be on my team, bashing the ball. I think a lot of people feel that he's got that LeGarrette Blount in him. Not as good as LeGarrette Blount, in my opinion. LeGarrette Blount, because obviously I'm from the O, so I got to see him in Eugene, and if you remember when they played Boise State, he smacked the shit out of that guy, and he got suspended, then LaMichael James got his shot, to be the man, and then they let him come back, which they probably shouldn't have, but, help kind of solidify Oregon and their running game, but when you saw him play for all the different teams, it seems like everywhere he went, he was successful. He's just that A-gap runner, that downhill guy, a guy that could run behind, a guard or a tackle that pulls. And I think Leonard Fournette is that gap kind of running back, a downhill runner. And like I said, the team that would probably benefit the most of getting Leonard Fournette would probably be the New England Patriots or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I really like the idea of the New England Patriots getting him, but we're just going to have to kind of see where he ends up and where he goes. And that's facts. Let's see here. Blount was on the Eagles too. I remember. So Tampa got McCoy. They good. Man, I need plenty of pieces, man. I need plenty of pieces. LaShawn McCoy ain't good. Come on, man. See, I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, and I got Shady McCoy, right? And I got Rojo, right? And I got Keyshawn Vaughn. But those guys are nowhere near Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette might be a headache, off the field. But this guy still ran for 1,100 yards. He still is a top 12 running back in this league, even though he was top 5 a couple years ago, right? And there's a lot of other guys back in that draft like Run CMC that ended up being a lot better. But I still would take Leonard Fournette on my team in a heartbeat. Shady McCoy fumbles the ball. He's older. He's just going to be a veteran presence in the locker room. Rojo from USC, smaller running back. He probably can't take too many hits before he gets hurt. Keyshawn Vaughn, a smaller back, right? A rookie this season. So I don't really have a 3-down bell cow. I'm not blessed, Devontae, like you with Zeke Elliott, right? And the Dallas Cowboys, okay? I'm not blessed like that, where I can get someone that they can hand the ball off and he can catch 60, 70, 80 passes out of the backfield. One of my favorite running backs in the league, Zeke Elliott. So, if I can get a Leonard Fournette, that's just going to be one extra piece to add. But I think with Bruce Arians, he doesn't like those questionable guys in the locker room. And so even though we need talent to win games, with Tom Brady there and the team that they're building it, I don't think they want any distractions. And that's another reason why Earl Thomas III isn't signed yet with anybody. Sometimes your attitude really distinguishes you as a person. And even though that might not be fair to Earl, first ballot Hall of Famer, championship pedigree, knows what it's like to be in a Super Bowl. But if it was just all about that, then how come he hasn't got signed just yet, Just saying, it's crazy. Mark Oman says, I love him on my Billies too. Said, don't go to the Pats. Said, don't let Belichick have him that. It should be illegal. McCoy is a dinosaur. He is old, but you know what? He might be able to revitalize his career too. Sometimes, when guys get a little bit older, right? Sometimes they can revitalize your career and get a little bit more juice out of you than you would expect. I mean, it happens all the time. Let's see here. Where's Tampa on the waiver list? I don't know, but I hope they're towards the top. Because even though I know Bruce Arians personally probably doesn't like them and doesn't want them, fuck it. I mean, I'll take him in a heartbeat to add that extra cherry on top to not only beat the Saints, but to be even more competitive in the NFC South. Because if you think about it, if we get Leonard Fournette, all the haters that think that we're going to go 8-8 or win 7 games, if everyone stays healthy and that defense gets better and you add a Leonard Fournette, not only can you win 10 to 12 games and possibly compete in the NFC South, we're going to make the playoffs. And if a lot of that, personnel stays healthy, who's to say that you might not be able to overachieve and possibly make a deep run in the NFC, especially with Leonard Fournette? I mean, I think we can make a deep run without him, but adding him, I mean, we're going to be definitely one of those teams in the NFC that nobody's going to want to play. Like, nobody's going to want to play Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody's going to want to play the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think anyone's really going to want to play the Steelers or the Bills or the Titans this season either. Denver's going to be kind of a sleeper. But then on the NFC side, Saints, Tampa Bay, the Packers, the Niners, Seattle. Seattle doesn't really scare a whole lot of people, but they got Danger Russ. So when he's there, they're always going to be in it. But I really feel that as far as the kind of the dominance and the expectations and the fear, there's not really teams. I don't think really teams fear anybody, but if they were going to fear anyone, it would be like the Saints, Tampa Bay, if they got Fournette, and maybe the Niners, unless the Niners take a big step back this season, which is possible. Cardinals might end up stealing a spot. Maybe the Giants get a little bit better. But if we get Fournette, I think us and the Saints and the Packers, we would be kind of the top-notch teams in the NFC. And then obviously with the Niners and their defense, I can't count them out. But I really, really love the Giants. Troll Patrol. Giants got Logan Ryan. It's huge. Huge. Ashton White in the building. He said, I miss you, man, as I was out for a while. Yeah, I miss you too, man. I'm glad that you're in the building. See, you a beast in real time. Ark Omen in the building. Blazers lost 2. Oh, man, that was brutal, right? But they, you know what? They got outmatched. You know what I mean? The Lakers, I feel like the refs were kind of catering to them in games 2 and 3. A lot more free throws and a lot more calls going for them. But that's not really saying that I'm bitter. It's just that's facts. But they were the better team. LeBron and AD dominated. And I'm not saying the league is rigged, but you definitely know when the better teams make it deeper into the Western Finals and the Eastern Finals. If it ends up being Lakers, Bucks, LeBron, and Giannis, better players equals more money, and more money equals more ratings. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being Lakers and Bucks in the NBA Finals this season, because that's what the NBA is pushing for. They want to have those stars, because if you're not really into the NBA, right, and you don't care, but if LeBron and Giannis are playing, you might actually tune in, even if you're an NFL person or a college football guy or an MLB guy or a wrestling guy. Like, those 2 matchups would probably interest more outsiders than any other 2 teams in the NBA. The Clippers got Paul George and they got Kawhi, I get it. But it's not the same as LeBron and AD, because you either love them or you hate them. And then Giannis is one of those freak of natures that, you'd love to be able to watch. At least I do when he's on TV. So we'll see if they end up not rigging the NBA, but if they really start pulling for that matchup. And obviously more money, more ratings, and you get those type of matchups. That's what typically happens. What's going to happen to the Hogs and their awesome fight song? Too bad. Sing it anyway. They don't mean any harm. Yeah, I think people are still going to be HTTR. I still think people are going to be singing it in the crowd. Even if they go to the Red Wolves, once they actually decide the name, and if they go Red Wolves, which I think they should, and if they end up, embracing that, and maybe they'll have a new fight song. But, a lot of the fans are still going to be, hail to the Redskins, HTTR, until they die. It's just one of those things. They haven't changed the Cleveland Indians or the Atlanta Braves yet. And I know they're trying to eliminate the chop from the Kansas City Chiefs and some of these other teams, but let's not take away a lot of the fun from sports. You feel me? Devontae Griffin, I thought my Cowboys was going to get Earl Thomas. It's funny, you know what I mean? He wants to play there. They could probably offer him a very, very little amount to be able to come, to be a part of that team, right? But since he already has vocally said, hey, I want to be on the Cowboys. As a kid, I dreamed about being the Cowboys. Since you kind of let your cards out, they could really sign him for the bare minimum. If he really, really wants to go there, if no one's calling out. But it's just interesting because all this time is passing, and if he was so coveted as a Pro Bowler, it shows you when you middle-fingered Pete Carroll and his exit to Seattle, ran into Jason Garrett, come get me, right? When he ended up punching his teammate in Baltimore, sometimes being an all-pro, even though he might not be the same, Pro Bowl safety as we knew him maybe from 3 to 4 years ago, he's still probably a top 15 safety in the league, top 16, right, out of all the safeties that are in football, but no one wants him. At least no one wants him for the money that, they are willing to negotiate at this point. But I'm really interested to see. Derwin James is out for the year. And obviously a logical spot would be the Dallas Cowboys, 1, just because he wants to play there. And then 2, with Derwin James being gone, they have the best secondary in football, or they did, with them and the Patriots, the Los Angeles Chargers. But now with no Derwin James, if you don't get Earl Thomas, I don't even think there's a chance for the playoffs now. I was really banking on Derwin James of being one of the top 5 players in the NFL on defense this season. He could have been like a Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, Chase Young. There's certain guys that are really going to elevate their games. Isaiah Simmons is going to be great this season, Darius Leonard. But if they don't pick up a safety to replace this guy, they have Nasir Adderley that they picked up, and so they might be able to transition him over there, but I'm just not sure if that's going to be as good as a Derwin James. It's a pretty big drop-off, so we'll see where Earl goes. In a mental state of mind, I believe the Bucs are mentally ready than the Saints. I do too. I'm ready, man. I really think that the Bucs are focused. We're ready. We can win the NFC South. I think we're going to go to the playoffs both years with Brady. I wouldn't be surprised if we go to the playoffs and win a game this season or next season. And to be very honest with everything that's going on, I think that the Bucs are going to be one of the favored teams in the NFC. Saints, Buccaneers, Packers, Niners. Maybe the Lions and the Giants and the Cardinals surprise everyone. Maybe the Rams as well. But Vikings took a big hit with a lot of losses on defense. Niners, they don't have DeForest Buckner anymore. And they have some injuries there with Deebo Samuel, so they may take a little bit of a step back, but I still think they'll be a great team. But right now, just what I see on training camp and people that are getting injured, and the Eagles unfortunately are getting banged up. We don't really know how good the Cowboys are going to be with McCarthy. But I really like the Saints, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Packers as being kind of the top-tier teams in the NFC right now. And then you'll have the Niners and a few other teams, the Cowboys and a few others really make a name. I like the Giants. I like the Cardinals and see what they're going to be able to do this season as well. The Rams might be able to surprise quite a few people too, and that's facts. But I just got to see these Eagles get healthy, man. It's crazy. So many injuries on that O-line. The Birds need a basher. They do. CG in the building. What it do? Devontae Griffin, bro, it was coaching. It was coaching, but it was also execution. The coaching and the play calling from Kellen Moore can go so far, but they didn't execute a lot of the plays. Dak could have been better on third down. They could have been better in the red zone. They could have been better in games when they were down 7 points or less and not go 0-5. So, this is a big year for them, and that's facts. Ruiz, LA Rams, what to do? Just stop by to drop a like. It's my son's birthday. Horns up for the Ramily. What to do? Appreciate you. Love you. I will be back tomorrow, Ruiz, for HBO Hard Knocks Los Angeles, the Chargers and Rams. I can't wait. Mitchell Trubisky is a backup for sure. I agree. The talk is both QBs look bad in Bears camp. But if you could choose one, I'm going Nick Foles. Nick Foles is a product of the Eagles and being somewhere where there's talent surrounding him. The Bears don't have talent surrounding him. I like Allen Robinson. I like Tariq Cohen. I'm not really that big on David Montgomery. When he's healthy, he's decent. They don't got a whole lot of weapons there. The defense is amazing. Defense is top 10. They could be a top 5 defense led by Khalil Mack and all the pieces that they have there. But after Vic Fangio left, they haven't been the same. Both are trash, I feel. But I feel Nick Foles is a little bit less of a trash can than Mitchell Trubisky. And you got to think, I can't even say Nick Foles is a trash can because he's not. He won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And he did it with execution, believing in his teammates, believing in himself. He's like a Rich Gannon, a Brad Johnson, these journeyman guys. Sometimes you don't have to be a Patrick Mahomes to win a Super Bowl. Sometimes you can be a guy perfect for a system, and if you end up, studying and executing, the miracles can happen. Even Philly. He proved it. So I definitely would go Nick Foles, hands down. And to be honest, I almost wish Nick Foles went back to Philly. Not to have a controversy for Carson Wentz and his job because they got Jalen Hurts there now. But I feel that's home for him. I feel that's just a good place for him. Maybe he'll end his career in Philly being Carson's backup, just in case Carson gets banged up. It's possible. But I like Nick Foles better. Odin's Child in the building. Keith Lee, handling Rollins and Orton. Odin's Child, bang! $10, my guy. I saw that the donations were up there a little bit earlier. I just wanted to make sure I caught up with everybody. I appreciate you very, very much. Kansas City Chiefs, Veach, Andy Reid, 5 to 6 years extension. Fantastic, man. Veach has done a great job managing the salary cap and making sure that they're getting all the pieces to come back. I still think that they are the front runner to win the Super Bowl and go back to back. I know how hard it is, with repeating and going back to back, but I really like the chances of the Kansas City Chiefs. They're doing everything right, and they are the new dynasty in the NFL. I hope you're doing great. Hopefully everything is going good with you and your family, and I'm ready already for the Chiefs and the Houston Texans. I got the thumbnail already ready. I got all the editing ready for it. I'm excited to do the live play-by-play and reactions for you guys this season. And that's facts. Mr. T Money, woo, I haven't seen you in the stream in a long time. Top 3 fits for Fournette: Eagles, Steelers, Chargers. Well, Eagles got Miles Sanders. Steelers already have James Conner. Chargers got Austin Eckler. So I'm not sure if those are the 3 fits for me. If I'm going to go 3 fits, I'm going Tampa Bay, right? And then I'm going to go New England. And then maybe I'll join Pittsburgh with you too. But obviously the Los Angeles Rams and Jalen Ramsey might not be the best fit, but that's one of his best friends. So, I mean, that might be one of the logical spots that he goes to. Rams, Tampa Bay, New England. But I do like the Steelers and that kind of scheme. That would be a good fit. I could picture him in that uniform, the Steelers. But really, to me, the 2 that really stand out the most are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New England Patriots. And that's facts. So I like the big man going to the birds. Jay Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount, all over again. I feel ya. A guy, $5, bang! If the hype is true, it sounds like Mayock hit on another draft. And I know Carr, from what I've seen in camp, like you said, Mariota struggled. Carr might be able to have a breakout year, but you're going to need him to. You know what I mean? Because now with the Chargers and these injuries, you might be able to leapfrog them, because I had them as one of the bubble teams with Denver, but maybe now the Chargers end up being last in that division. Maybe the Raiders can leapfrog them, and instead of being 4th, maybe you could be 3rd or possibly 2nd, and fighting with the Denver Broncos. It's going to be tough because Denver's got a little bit more depth than you at this point. But if Henry Ruggs comes out and plays like a Tyreek the Freak Hill, and Darren Waller is like Darren Waller from last year, and Carr is like Carr from the MVP season, and the defense starts playing great, I mean, you can't really count that team out. That's another sleeper team. So we'll have to see on how the Raiders do. No one's really talking about them, kind of like the Giants and the Cardinals, but we'll see. Maybe it's Denver and the Raiders instead of Denver and the Chargers. This Derwin James loss is huge. And like I said, they might have only been a bubble team with Derwin James. Now with no Derwin James, I don't think the Chargers are going to make the playoffs. I mean, regardless on how good Tyrod Taylor is going to do, there's too much competition. You got the Bills, you got the Pats. You got Tennessee, you got the Colts. You got the Chiefs and the Broncos. You got the Ravens, and you got the Steelers, and maybe the fucking Cleveland Browns. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not really sold on the Cleveland Browns. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We will see. He's perfect for the Eagles. Captain Hector Barbosa. So I'm going to go with the Pats. Feel like they're going to start assembling their offense around Cam. That makes the most sense to me. The Pats and the Bucks. But we'll see if it ends up really happening. I know Belichick would love to have a LeGarrette Blount 2.0. He rocked 27. Fournette runs with the 27. It could happen, and Cam would love to have a player like that help him out, because a quarterback's best friend is going to be a solid running game, and Fournette's a guy that can get you 1,000 to 1,200 yards easy, even if he misses a couple games, and that's facts. And he said, also, fuck my life. Guess I won't see Derwin for a while. For a whole year. And that sucks, bro, because out of him and Jamal Adams, they were my 2 favorite safeties in football. But if you watch Derwin James in Florida State, Tampa Bay was looking at him, and we were going to draft him. But they said his injuries are going to haunt him for his whole career. And I didn't want to believe it, because I loved him at Florida State. A lot of Florida State guys like Jalen Ramsey, certain guys, they like to talk shit. They have that swag about them, right? and he's got a lot of confidence. But the injury bug is just starting to stick with him, and I hope that he can come back from this because he is one of the better safeties in the NFL. I hope he's not one of these guys, that is like got the Derrick Rose syndrome, from the Chicago Bulls, and he just keeps getting hurt and hurt and hurt because I really like watching him. And to be honest, you got Nasir Adderley and you got other pieces there, Desmond King, and you ended up, picking up some pieces there to add to the squad. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Chris Harris, obviously is going to be a nice addition as well. But Derwin could have been a top 5 Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and not having him really, really going to hurt. I'm not sure if the playoffs are going to be in the Chargers' future unless the quarterback position, they overachieve tremendously to get to 10 or 11 wins, but I'm not sure if you're going to get it this particular season. CG, LOL with that O-line. Shady got a ring by being on the Chiefs, right? Well, even though he didn't really play, but I still think that, he's not necessarily a guy that, you would want to have back there. Him, Rojo, Keyshawn Vaughn, Leonard Fournette's better than all those 3. Optimus Prime in the building, what to do? Retro in the building, who dat? He should go to the Seattle. Well, Chris Carson's there. Penny was kind of a bust. The O-line and the D-line's trash. It definitely could give them another piece if he went there. I could picture him in that Seattle Seahawks uniform, but I just don't know if that would be like a wild card out of left field, if he ended up going to Seattle. It definitely could improve their chances of winning a playoff game and going deeper in the playoffs. Having a 1-2 punch of Chris Carson, Leonard Fournette would give them the best duo in the NFL. Right now it's probably Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as one of the best. But if Chris Carson and Leonard Fournette were together, fuck Penny. You wouldn't even need him at this point. He hasn't really produced. But that would be a great 1-2 punch. And Carson usually gets banged up, throughout the year. So I'm not sure if that's a possibility, but we'll see. Ark Omen says, that's good. And he got him on a team long enough to get him a ring, too. He was on my Eagles with Reed, then on my Billies, too. He said, didn't even need to be in uniform for the Super Bowl, though, right? Yeah, he was injured. He said, not with that bad O-line. McCoy going to look like on his way to a nursing home. CG, I'm going to laugh so hard, bro. I can't wait for these Saints-Bucks matchups. You got so many problems with your team with Drew Brees, right? Now you got AK-41 holding out. You know what I mean? You can say that we have a horrible secondary. You're going to watch, and you're going to see that we don't have one of the worst defenses in the league. We have a team that could be a top 15 defense, but we could actually be in the top 10 midway to the end of the year. And I think my team on paper is just as good as yours, and I think we're going to beat the brakes off you guys. I think that, you guys have a lot of drama. All the pressure is on you, right? And if you guys make the playoffs and we play you, I'm 100% confident we're going to beat you this year. You know what I mean? No one fears the Saints, bro, especially with all these problems that you guys have moving forward. And AK-41's holding out. You better hope that he's ready and suited up week 1 because I want you guys to be full strength when we beat you guys. So The time has ran out, man. You guys have already had 3-4 years at the top and couldn't get it done. So, who's to say that this year is going to be any different? All the pressure, 1 year older with Breeze. You did bring in Emmanuel Sanders. I like that. You drafted Ruiz and you drafted McCoy on the line back-to-back from A&M and Michigan, which I love. I love those moves. Demario Davis is still there. No Von Bell, right? So there's certain pieces that are there, certain pieces that aren't there. You better pray AK-41 gets his money or you guys are going to be in trouble. Latavius Murray ain't going to be able to get you to a Super Bowl or an NFC Championship game, and that's facts. Optimus Prime, how do you think Jameis Winston is going to do with the Saints? Well, they better pray that he doesn't have to get in there and play because if, even with that LASIK eye surgery, he's a bad decision maker. He's a knucklehead. He might be able to turn it around for the Saints, but I'm glad I don't have him anymore. You know what I mean? You got good weapons there, but he's just an injury-prone type of guy. He's a turnover-prone type of guy. We'll see. I don't want to see Jameis Winston go against my Bucks. I want to see Drew Brees. I want them to be full strength. That's facts. But I don't think he'll ever be a starter in this league ever again, Jameis Winston. Unless it's for one of the worst teams in the NFL, like a bottom feeder. But if you're a bottom feeder team, you're probably going to get like a Trevor Lawrence. But I did hear a rumor that they were talking about if they fire the Jags coach this season, right, and they bring in Dabo Sweeney from Clemson and Trevor Lawrence next year for the first pick in the draft. Could you imagine Dabo Sweeney and Trevor Lawrence on Jacksonville? That would be huge. that could really turn that franchise around. I can see Trevor Lawrence going there, but I can't really see Dabo Swinney, but you never know. Maybe they can entice him, say, hey, we're going to get you and we're going to get your quarterback, and you can build the team the way that you want with Trevor Lawrence. That might be the only way Dabo Swinney leaves Clemson, is leaving with Trevor Lawrence. That would be exciting. I kind of hope it happens, but I don't know if it will. Shady is better for certain down and distant situations. Well, Shady's going to be good for third down and passing situations. That's why they're going to have him there. You know what I mean? Maybe Rojo will start, and then they'll have Shady in on third down and have him, take little slants and little hook routes. He's not going to be a guy that's going to be a 3-down back. Camo Shark 123. How do you think DJ Moore is going to do next year? Phenomenal. He's going to be the best wide receiver on the team, not named Run CMC. He's going to take a big leap in his game. Teddy Bridgewater is going to dink and doink. He may not go deep downfield, but the rapport that he's going to have with Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore is going to be phenomenal. Like I said, that might be another sleeper team that people aren't really talking about. I like DJ Moore. He's not going to be as good as like a Cortland Sutton as a number one wide receiver, but he's getting there. He's turning into like the Kelvin Benjamin receiver that we thought Kelvin Benjamin was going to be. We thought Kelvin Benjamin would be that bigger Mushin Muhammad, bigger wide receiver, the guy that would be able to get better and better and better, except he just got fatter, and fatter, and then they released him. But I really like DJ Moore a lot. I mean, I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, but I would take DJ Moore on my team in a heartbeat. I like him a lot. Red Tails, woohoo! Kind of like DuckTales. We'll see what happens. Foles is trash outside of Philly, typically, right? But I like his chances being a little bit more successful, than Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky doesn't throw pick sixes, right? But I just don't believe in him long term. I think he's a backup. That's facts. Let's see here. It says Campshire DJ was top 10 in yards with Kyle Allen, so now Teddy is going to ball. Mr. T Money. Yeah, I like him, like I said. But the thing is like with Teddy Bridgewater, he's not a guy that it's like a Kirk Cousins or a guy that's really going to be throwing the ball deep downfield, because he's got limitations in his arm. Teddy Two Gloves. I mean, maybe he'll get a little bit more arm strength and they'll go deep and surprise people in the scheme. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see if they decide to go deep, because, I mean, you got Run CMC and you can dink and doink, screen pass, slant route, in route, out route. But are we going to be seeing a lot of post routes, a lot of out and up routes, a lot of go routes? I don't know. But I know if you do go deep, DJ Moore is the guy to throw to, and he'll be able to get touchdowns. I mean, he's money. He's getting better and better and better each year, and that's facts. Mark Oman says, please not the Pats. Austin Eckler is in an article, said he expects to share the ball 50-50 this year. I doubt it. They'd be stupid to share the ball 50-50 with Eckler. Eckler is so good, Melvin Gordon's not there. They don't need to go 50-50. If Eckler is there, Eckler should be getting the ball 80-20. He's that good. I mean, he should be getting the ball first down, second down, third down. He's a great pass catcher. He's a good blocker. He's everything that you want in a running back that's underrated, in my opinion. I love Austin Eckler. Fournette to the Steelers, possibly. Miles Sanders has potential, but I don't know if he's ready to be the man. Mr. Team Money. Well, you're a Panther fan. I'm not sure how much Eagles coverage that you have. He would be ready, and he is ready, right? But when you have 3 starters on the O-line going out, possibly for the year, it's going to be a lot harder for anybody that it's in that backfield to be dominant, and that's facts. They lost a lot of pieces already. So that's why a team like the New York Football Giants might end up taking a spot. It was Eagles and Cowboys, but now maybe the New York Football Giants get up there. But I like Miles Sanders a lot. Good player. He's definitely going to blow his stats from last year out of the water. Even if 2 or 3 of the guys on the O-line, thank God they got Jason Peters back. I mean, he's not the same Jason Peters as he was before, but it's just kind of sad and unfortunate that they have so many injuries on that O-line already. They've got hit the hardest out of any NFL team so far, with 3 other starters out for a long, significant amount of time, and Jalen Reagor, their wide receiver rookie's banged up and might miss a little bit of time too. I hate that. I hate saying O-line, because as me, I'm a linebacker guy, DN, D-tackle, safety, corner guy, and O-line. Those are my favorite positions, is linebacker, middle, and outside, right, and O-line. So, like, guys like Quentin Nelson, I love. Linebackers, Luke Kuechly, Derek Brooks, those kind of guys I love. I just don't want to see certain guys get banged up. It just sucks, because, like I said, I did a video about 2 months ago, And the teams that I felt that had the best O-line and D-line combo, number one, I had the Eagles going into this year. They have a lot of depth on the D-line and the O-line, but now that depth is a little depleted. It sucks, man, but it's a part of football. Maybe it's a hot take, but I'm going to guess next offseason, Ramsey leaves the Rams and joins Derwin with the Bolts. They're best friends, and the Chargers can free up cap by letting Desmond King walk. Possibly. Sometimes it just depends if friends is worth it, to be able to make that move. I know Jalen Ramsey likes it there, though. You know what I mean? If you're with Aaron Donald, it probably just depends on how far they get this season. I mean, if they overachieve and they make the playoffs and the O-line isn't as bad as we think it is and Cam Akers balls out, there is a possibility that Ramsey stays with Aaron Donald. I mean, you're playing with the best player on defense, period, Aaron Donald. I mean, we haven't seen a guy like this in a long, long time. And I'm a Warren Sapp guy, and Aaron Donald is leaps and bounds better than Warren Sapp, and Warren Sapp is a first ballot Hall of Famer, So we'll see. But that would be interesting. That would be huge for your team. I mean, you're going to need it. But the thing is, what you really need is Derwin James to stay fucking healthy, right? Because if he was healthy, I really believe that he would have been a top 5 defensive player of the year candidate this season. I really had a feeling, if he didn't get hurt, that could have been one of those guys. Chandler Jones, I love. Cameron Jordan, I love. I think those two guys are going to be in the running for the sack championship this season. Isaiah Simmons, Chase Young, rookies, on the Cardinals and the Washington football team are going to ball out. I think Nick Bosa and Joey Bosa could be all pro this season. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are going to take a next step in their game. Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa could be all pros. I could see Mike Evans finally being an all pro with Tom Brady this season, if he ends up getting enough targets this season as well. So it'll be really exciting to see a couple guys kind of take the next step in their games, and that's facts. What about Taysom Hill? How will he affect the game? Well, of course he's going to affect the game. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's the best Swiss Army knife in the game. There's nobody like him. When you watched him play college football at quarterback, I mean, he could do everything. So, I mean, obviously if AK-41 holds out, they got Latavius Murray, but they could sprinkle in Taysom Hill at running back, tight end, fullback, quarterback, special teams, kick returner, punt returner. I mean, that's why on paper the Saints are one of the best teams in the NFL. But like I said, time's running out. They really need to execute and get shit done. No distractions. They got to move forward and get it done. Jameis was no good from the beginning. Well, you can't say that because he ended up winning the Heisman and did big things with Florida State. But then the following year when my Ducks played them, we torched them, right, in the Rose Bowl. But I never really thought Jameis was one of those guys, too much ego, too much, trouble off the field. You know what I mean? I just, sometimes if you're that type of guy, and you just think that everything should be catered to you and you're not willing to put in the work, you know what I mean? Everyone just, everyone was lifting fingers for you and trying to be there like your servant, let me do this for you, let me do this for you. And I think it just went to his head, because he was the guy. He was the number one guy at Florida State. I mean, when he was there at Florida State, who was bigger than Jameis Winston? You know what I mean? No, nobody was bigger at Florida State at the time that he was there than Jameis Winston. He could have been a professional baseball player, number 1 pick in the NFL. And I knew since Tampa Bay, Florida State, being in the state of Florida, they were going to go for him over the Mariota, a guy that played at Oregon all the way on the other side of the country. But either one wouldn't have fit, long term. But I would have rather seen Mariota because I like guys that aren't going to be distractions off the field. But we'll see if either one can ever become a starting quarterback in this league. I got more confidence in Jameis Winston and Mariota being a starter than Trubisky ever again. I mean, I don't think Trubisky is ever going to be able to get a shot ever again. I mean, it was just a bad mistake by the Chicago Bears. That's facts. Yeah, I never was sold on him. I never was either. That's why I never bought his jersey. I just never, I mean, 33 touchdowns, 30 picks. And then we went 7-9, and out of those 9 losses, like 7 of them were like by 10 points or less or 7 points or less. So when people say that they think we're going to be 7-9 or 8-8, it's ridiculous. I mean, we're going to win a lot more games. Brady's not going to throw 30 picks. I mean, Brady might throw under 10. The most picks that I can see Tom Brady throwing this season is maybe 13, maybe 14, and he's going to get at least 20 touchdowns passing. But realistically, he could be somewhere in that 30 to 40 range. I mean, we're going to have to see on how, the offense gels. I'm excited to see where it goes. It's going to be very, very exciting for Tampa Bay and the Saints. I'm excited for that week 1 matchup in the Dome. Because like I said, the Saints on paper look great. Tampa Bay looks great. Packers look great, right? And then you got the Niners, but they lost some pieces, so there's some question marks. Seattle's always good with Dangerous. Minnesota lost a lot of pieces on their defense, so I'm not sure there. The Cardinals with D-Hop and Kyler Murray taking that next step. The Rams taking the next step, possibly with Cam Akers. Detroit Lions might be able to take a step with DeAndre Swift and Kerryon Johnson and Matthew Stafford being healthy. The New York Football Giants might take a step. CeeDee Lamb with the Cowboys. You know, the Eagles I had as the top team in the East, but with that NFC East with all those injuries, I mean, they might get dethroned now. It might be the Cowboys and Giants. I mean, unless they can get these injuries under control. So, but I'm excited. And the AFC, you know, you got the Chiefs. To me, as the best team, I really see them repeating. If it's not them, it's the Ravens. And then you got the teams like the Bills that are going to be fantastic to watch this season. Patriots should be decent. You know, obviously I like Pittsburgh Steelers. Who else? Indianapolis Colts with Phillip Rivers. Even though he's old, they got one of the best O-lines. Quentin Nelson's the best O-lineman in the game. So I think that they'll be able to make a run for a wild card. Titans should be good. Broncos will be a sleeper. You know, there's a lot of different teams that are going to be able to take the next step. But year two quarterbacks are something to really take a look at. You saw Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz. You're starting to see like the tradition and the pattern. And as we're going now, Kyler Murray, Danny Dimes. These are two guys that I expect to have really big increases in their game going from last season to this season. Leonard Fournette released from the Jags. Best team fits. Where could he go? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Yes, please. New England Patriots with Bill Belichick, Sony Michel, James White, Leonard Fournette, Garrett Blunt 2.0. I know they would like that. Pittsburgh Steelers with James Conner. That would be a great fit. Big Ben Revenge Tour. A lot of people aren't talking about the Steelers, but I definitely could see them being a team that could contend, you know, not only with the Chiefs and the Ravens, but, you know, making sure they have good even matchups with the Patriots and the Bills and the Titans. I think that they could really have a very successful season, but it depends on Big Ben. Big Ben is healthy, you know, they can make an AFC championship game. If Big Ben is, you know, 65 to 85%, they'll make the playoffs, but they'll get knocked off in the first round more than likely if they play a team with a good defense. So I'm excited to see Big Ben kind of revitalize his career. Could he go to Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, New England? Maybe the Rams. Jalen Ramsey's one of his best friends. He could go there. Chicago Bears need some help. David Montgomery's banged up. They got Tariq Cohen. That might be the worst spot for him to go to. But we'll see on waivers who picks him up. I'm really excited to see what happens with the roster, who picks him up. A lot of injuries have happened. You know, Logan Ryan got picked up by the New York Football Giants. Derwin James out for the year. So there's been a lot of football noise, you know, in the last few days. J.J. Trilla in the building. Eagles falling apart as usual. Oh, man. They are too. But like I said, the Cowboys and the Giants now are moving up in the depth chart in the pecking order. But like I said, I still got to see Kellen Moore, and I got to see Dak Prescott be on the same page. But having CeeDee Lamb there, that's going to be one of the most exciting players to watch in this NFL season. And I think I saw a thing over-under of 5 touchdowns. I thought that's ridiculous. CeeDee Lamb is one of those guys who could get 2 touchdowns in a game multiple times in a year. So it wouldn't even surprise me if CeeDee Lamb gets somewhere to 8 to 10 touchdowns this season. It wouldn't surprise me if Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup all get over 1,000. They should. I just don't know if Dak is the guy long term. But if they get to the playoffs or NFC Championship game, then they definitely are going to re-sign him. But if they don't make the playoffs, they may move on, you know, from Dak Prescott and go a different direction. But I'm definitely excited to see where it goes. Leonard Fournette released from the Jags. Best team fits. A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. New hoodies available, NWSF $39.99. Represent for your team, the Northwest Sports Fanatics, for wherever you live. Well, it's almost been about an hour and 12, hour and 13 minutes, so I was planning on only going online for about an hour. I'm definitely excited of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' chances. I know if he goes to New England, no one's going to be happy. If he goes to Pittsburgh, that's going to be a real game changer because it definitely breaches the gap between the Ravens and the Chiefs. If you get a guy like Leonard Fournette to the Steelers to me have one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best. I think they have the best defense personally. So then if you add a piece like Leonard Fournette, Big Ben, James Conner, Juju, Deontay Johnson, Eric Ebron, looking pretty good. I mean, that could really be a team that could knock off the Ravens or Chiefs in that Super Bowl deep run. But we got to see how Big Ben is. But I'm not sure if that's a destination that's realistic. It could be. It sounds good. I could see it in my head. Steelers, Pats, Bucks. I mean, those are the main three that I could really see him going to. But we'll have to kind of wait and see on waivers and who picks him up here in the next day or two. And we still got to wait on Earl Thomas III. Derwin James is out. Earl could go to the Cowboys. He could go to the Chargers, but no one signed him yet. Attitude issues. It shows you if you got attitude, sometimes it's not going to get you to where you want to be. But I'm really, really hoping for a miracle and Tampa Bay somehow, some way gets Leonard Fournette. But if I already got Shady McCoy and Rojo there and rookie Keyshawn Vaughn, it's not that likely. But having Leonard Fournette, Rojo, and LaShawn McCoy, that sounds pretty sexy on paper with Tom Brady, Gronk, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and all the rest. I mean, that would really put the cherry on top of really making my team that much more competitive as we're going into the 2020 season. But we'll have to wait and see. But I'm rooting for Leonard Fournette to find a good home. And I'm hoping that it's Tampa Bay, but we'll find out. Well, I'll do a reaction video, definitely, if he ends up hopping onto my team. Leonard Fournette released from the Jags. Best team fits. A reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. Teng Yang says Jags are tanking for Lawrence and maybe tanking for Debo. I'm telling you, Debo Samuel, Trevor Lawrence, both go to the Jags. They revitalize that franchise. Trevor Lawrence to the Jags, that's a done deal. And I'm so excited to watch him play football this season since the Pac-12 and the Big Ten are canceled until spring. So I'm going to be doing some live play-by-play reaction for Trevor Lawrence, all his games, or a majority of them. Alabama Crimson Tide, I'm going to be doing a lot of those as well. But we'll have to kind of wait and see. I hope everyone is having a great Monday. I'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific time for HBO Hard Knocks, a live stream watch party for HBO Hard Knocks Los Angeles for the Chargers and Rams. So if you guys can make it into the room tomorrow, I'll be in there for about an hour and a half, just talking football. We'll watch HBO Hard Knocks together, and we're getting closer and closer into the NFL debut. Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans, 10 days away. I can't wait. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and I'll be out very, very soon. I'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific time. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Very, very much. A-Guy, Odin's Child. Appreciate you guys with the donations. Optimus Prime, Tang Yang, JJ Trilla, Ark Omen, Jesus, my guy. Appreciate all you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm out. Peace.